Coming up in today's video, we're going to be talking about some major news happening in pro wrestling. If you guys want more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe. All right, everybody, we're going to kick things off with some MLW news. Well, this is actually pretty cool. It has a lot to do with MLW and New Japan Pro Wrestling. We've kind of known for a minute that they would be going into some sort of partnership. Now MLW has announced the partnership with New Japan Pro Wrestling will begin at Fury Road, which is taking place September 3rd in Philly. And this honestly looks like a pretty stacked card. You got Alex Kane versus Willie Mack. It's a World Heavyweight Championship match. You got a Weapons of Mass Destruction match for National Openweight Championship, which is going to be Jacob Fatu versus Ricky Shane Page. Kiss My Foot match with Matt Cardona and Mance Warner. You got Maki Ito on there. You got Tracy Williams versus Ichiban. But also, they did announce that there will be a MLW versus NJPW match, which is pretty exciting. And look, guys, here's the thing, right? MLW, smaller company. Impact Wrestling, smaller company. NWA, smaller company. You got WWE and AEW being at the top, and it's just a really good thing to see some of these smaller companies being able to work and have partnerships with other companies, right? Like Impact and New Japan has a really solid relationship. Their content together is very good. I'm hoping we could get the same with MLW and New Japan Pro Wrestling as well. I just think it's a good win, and I think it helps a lot for New Japan Pro Wrestling to be working even with smaller companies in America. They're trying to establish their footprint in North America, and I think that's a really good thing. I'll keep you guys updated. We'll see what else comes of it. Hopefully some bigger matches, and yeah. I want to turn our attention to a funny little story. Matt Hardy revealed on his podcast, Extreme Life of Matt Hardy, he was talking a little bit more in depth about Leatherface and the whole Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the sponsored match. And one thing that was really interesting, he says Tony Khan was really into the idea of doing this match. He was really excited about the sponsorship and that they were going to be donating that portion of the match to the Maui charity, which is a great cause, obviously. But Tony was so into the match, he actually dressed up as Leatherface. He had to play Leatherface and he ran out with the chainsaw. How committed to the gig, right? He gave us Leatherface, guys. Sorry to spoil that, but Tony Khan was Leatherface running out swinging the chainsaw. Now, this is a really interesting thing, and the only reason why I'm bringing this up, not calling Matt Hardy a liar, but Fightful Select did drop a report like literally a day after the match, and he said that the man behind the mask was indie wrestler and AEW jobber Dean Alexander. So who was Leatherface? Honestly, if you look at the picture of Leatherface, I could see how somebody would think it's Tony Khan. I don't think it was Tony Khan. I genuinely believe AEW's report is accurate, and I'm thinking maybe even Matt Hardy is just joking around or whatever. But it is cool if it is Tony Khan. It is cool because I feel like Tony Khan, keep in mind WWE for the longest time, one of the things I hated was the idea of like authority figures really being like the whole having all the attention on them during the shows. And obviously with WWE, they don't really have an authority figure other than Adam Pearce, and he's not really a main focal point. So I like that about Tony Khan, honestly. If you watch AEW, Tony Khan's TV appearances are very, very rare. And when he does, I mean, it's not all about him. I know you'll have some people try to argue that it is, but it's not. So if he was Leatherface, I wouldn't care whatsoever. It doesn't change how I feel about the match, but obviously the match did go towards great causes, which is a good thing. But I thought that was a little funny tidbit. Is it really Tony Khan? I guess we'll have to, we'll just have to hear from Tony Khan and see what he says. Guys, I want to turn our attention to our next story. Paul White, Big Show. We talked a little bit about Captain Insano possibly coming to All In. Now there was a report from Fightful Select, that indicated that Captain Insano's gear is being made for the possible use of the character. There was no other details on that. And then we know right now that this is where it gets interesting, by the way. The report added that they heard there was a match discussed for Sunday's All In pay-per-view that would see Captain Insano, Matt Hardy, and Jeff Hardy versus Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, and Satnam Singh. However, Jeff Hardy can't get into the country due to his past legal troubles, and it's unclear whether or not Jeff could be replaced by someone in the match. Could be a late addition to the card. So keep in mind at this time it's 5. It is August 25th. We're just a few days away from the pay-per-view. They could very well add something. I'm guessing they're gonna do something for the 0 hour pre-show, which they could announce at any point in time. But the question is, who would replace Jeff Hardy? And then obviously that would be really interesting. But Paul White in Wembley Stadium, it would be quite enjoyable to watch in some capacity. I just miss Paul White. I miss Big Show. And if he's coming out as Captain Insano, I'm cool with it, man. Whatever. At this point, everything's a late build to the pay-per-view anyways. It's not, it's nothing crazy. But at least it's Wembley. At least there's going to be 80,000 fans. And honestly, at a time like this, it's going to be really, really good for wrestling fans to have some wrestling. As you guys know, yesterday there was some tragic news that dropped. I don't cover that news on this channel. I do not cover wrestling deaths or anything like that on this channel. I don't think it's necessary to do that. But obviously at a time like this, it's been very unfortunate to hear about that news. And yeah, we're going to keep the show going on. But obviously I know a lot of wrestling fans are looking forward to some wrestling right now. They definitely want something to kind of just raise their spirits and stuff. So if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, rest in peace to Bray Wyatt. Again, there's not going to be anything in the title, tags, description. I'm not trying to grow my channel off of that, but I did want to throw that out there. A lot of people are obviously very sad right now. So hopefully everybody will get through it. Our final story of today's video will be Brock Anderson. If you guys didn't know, Brock Anderson's contract is coming up, according to Arn Anderson. Arn Anderson was talking about this on the Ask Arn Anything segment of his podcast. He says it's not up yet until the end of the month, the end of August, so we will see. I hope he's one of those guys, guys like him and Taz's kid, referring to Hook. A lot of young talent that has a lot to offer, just haven't had a chance yet. I hope things work out and we're able to stay. Keep in mind, Arn Anderson was on Collision 2 weeks ago, roughly. But keep in mind that AEW already let go of, Brian Pillman. They didn't re-sign him. Brian Pillman, obviously, there's the ties to WWE that's been reported. So you got to wonder if Brock Anderson could be next. If you're the WWE, I feel like you would want Arn Anderson and Brock Anderson in NXT. I feel like that would be a really good thing. Really, this kid is good, man. He just needs some development, and it's harder to be developed in AEW when you see that the company has so many experienced people that they're trying so hard to get on television already as it is. So I can understand if he were not to stay, and it sounds like more than likely he won't be. But until we get confirmation for sure, we just won't necessarily know. But with that being said, guys, I appreciate you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.